Anybody from Lucas County? We have one person from Lucas County. Two people from Lucas County. Did you come together? Did you carpool?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, we have our next performer from Toledo. Let's welcome her to the stage, everybody. I'll tell you a little bit about her. This is Traeonna. Traeonna has a business in Toledo called Kimono, founded in 2018, and she's an expert in the styling and fashions of kimono. She's going to teach us a little bit about that. Please welcome Traeonna to the stage.
Hello everyone. Sorry, I'm doing all with note cards because I tend to be very verbose and I will get off topic and go down 2 hours about kimono. So thank you so much for having me and inviting me to this first fundraiser. I'm excited. I am the one that drove 2 hours to get here. So we have a very, very small Asian population in Toledo. So I spend most of my time in Novi, Cleveland, and Columbus. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about kimono. Kimono itself literally translates to a thing to wear. However, originally it was multiple garments. It was this is kimono, that's kimono. But now we just think of it, the garment that I'm wearing now. So it's a T-shaped garment. It looks like a robe that wraps around your body. And that's kind of what we consider kimono nowadays. So tonight, what I'd like to actually share is some thoughts about the versatility of kimono. From traditional styling, like I'm wearing tonight, all the way to fusion fashion, which Mary the mannequin is wearing. And also we have another wonderful person walking around today that is also sporting fusion fashion, so I was very excited to see that this evening. So many people that I've spoken to over the years, have inherited kimono from grandmothers, mothers, whatever. And they're like, I have this piece, it's sitting in my closet. I don't know how to wear it. I don't know where to wear it. So what do I do with it, other than let it stay in a box for the next generation to find when they're emptying the house out? So perhaps maybe you have something sitting at home. And I'm here to tell you that it can be easily integrated into your everyday style. Kimono is very, very easy to do without having to know all the process of what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing a kimono, I'm wearing an obi that must be tied, I'm wearing many accessories like this little belt here called an obijime, this little scarf called an obiage. Underneath this is another 3 layers of clothing. So it takes a long time to get dressed in traditional style. And I'm semi-formally dressed tonight, so there's a little extra here and there. But what I like to encourage people to do is explore fusion fashion. And what fusion fashion is it takes 2 different cultures, such as Japanese and American, and fuses it together, or 2 different styles, such as traditional kimono and streetwear. So that is what we're going to talk a little bit about. And I'd love to give you some ideas, some creative ideas on how to incorporate pieces you might find. I know a lot of people go to the thrift stores and stuff, and they'll come upon a kimono and they're like, it's beautiful. What do I do with it? So for a relaxed take on a traditional style, instead of wearing this inner collar, which is called a juban, instead replace it with a turtleneck. So you can just wear a normal turtleneck you have in your closet, and you can dress the rest of the way with it. You can also incorporate Western accessories. So instead of this obijime, which you have to tie and know a knot and all that, just take a skinny belt and wear that instead. So this is a trend that's happening in Japan right now, especially in street fashion, which is where I get most of my inspiration. They will take a little bit of grandma's and mom's closet, and then they'll take a little bit of their closet and put it all together. Another huge trend right now, especially with the Zoomer generation and the alphas, they love their hoodies. So they just wear their hoodie under their kimono, and then they style the rest like they would do. Sometimes they will use big wide leather belts that you would get Hot Topic or something, and they would style. Woo! I just lost my shoe. Hurt me. So it's all about mixing and matching. One popular thing for male kimono, since it's not as long as female kimono, people wear them as coats. And a really huge fashion right now, especially with the young gentlemen over in Japan, is they'll wear kurotomosode as jackets, kind of like a trench coat. And there's a black kimono that you see that have a design along the bottom. woman is the most formal kimono for a married woman in Japan. And you can really only wear it in a couple places, usually if you're the mother of the bride or groom. That's it. That kimono doesn't get used again. It sits in a box. So the newer generation's like, let's get it out of the box, let's wear it on the street. So they'll wear their outfit, they'll wear it like a coat, which is really great. Another idea for a style, layer a haori, which is a kimono coat that's worn kind of open. Just wear jeans and a shirt. This is actually how I got into kimono like 20 some odd years ago. Is I started wearing jeans, a cute little blouse, I threw a haori coat over it, and that was my outfit. And that got me used to having sleeves that get caught on doorknobs and get stuck in my food. So I mean, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but everybody likes to swing the pretty little sleeves around because it's flowy. So that's the first thing. Whenever someone tries something on in my shop, they're like, ooh, sleeves. So that's just a really easy way to incorporate it. For this example, right here, this is called a michiyuki, which is an overcoat that you would wear over the kimono as you're traveling. So I have a really long one that I wore here today that goes almost all the way to my ankles, and it's supposed to just protect your kimono as you're traveling. It also adds a layer of warmth. But I like to style it like a little mini dress. While it's a long one, it's more like a full-length dress. And you can just take a wide little, corset, one here, or any kind of wide belt, and you can make it into a cute little dress. One thing I like about this is it requires absolutely no dressing skills at all for a kimono traditionally worn. You have to learn how to do a tie on the inside to tie two things together, and you need to know how to work snaps. If you can do tying and snapping, then that's all you need. You just put this on. In the wintertime, I like to wear it with a turtleneck or a light sweater underneath. I like a lot of high collar things. And like those fleece line tights that are super cool now, because then you can wear it all winter long with a cute little pair of ankle boots. So it's a very simple way to start dipping your toe into kimono before kind of falling in the deep end like I did a couple years ago. So I've been wearing kimono regularly for about 14 years. I've been interested in about 20 years. But about 4 years ago, I started an apprenticeship with my teacher in Japan. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to learn how to teach people to dress in kimono formally. And halfway through my apprenticeship, she goes, hey, you should open a kimono store. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I opened one because, where do you find kimono in the United States other on like Amazon or eBay or something? So, silly me, like, sure, that sounds like a great idea. So I fell deeper and deeper and deeper into this kimono fashion. All during my 4-year apprenticeship with my teacher, I didn't wear any Western clothes. So every day I woke up and I wore some form of kimono in some style. So that's commitment there. That is not for everybody, which is why I like to introduce people into things like fusion, because it's way more accessible to people, and it's just more fun because you already have clothes in your closet. You don't have to buy the million accessories. So a couple of other ideas were just simple things like business casual. It's something that come up. I am at a university a lot, University of Toledo. That's my school. My kids are in the marketing program, and they're always having to go to these mixers where they're supposed to network and talk, and they end up in the corner, really quiet, waiting for people to approach them. They just look around. So I took a couple of them, like, hey, let's zhuzh up your wardrobe, let's pick a few interesting statement pieces, because then people approach you, and they, hey, what are you wearing? What is this? This thing with these weird sleeves, or what's that on your hat? It's like this weird tie. So what we do is, you get them engaged, and then someone comes to you, and they start a conversation, which for these younger, professionals, they don't really know how to do yet. So that's another thing, is we replace like a blazer, and we put a haori coat on instead. And that's just a little statement piece. The same with men. There's a really popular thing, is instead of having your suit jacket, you'll have a men's haori instead, which stands in for that suit jacket. It's a little less formal, but it's like essentially business casual, and you can get away with it there. The last example I want to talk about is just some of the accessories. So we mostly talked about the michi yukiko, the haoriko, and then the big kimono I'm wearing. So we have all these things like this thing around my waist is called an obi. It's a belt. You can use these with normal clothing. So one gal I follow on Instagram, she loves to wear like these slim black dresses all the time, but then she finds a really brightly colored obi and she ties a very elaborate bow in the back, and that's her outfit. So she has tons and tons of these styles where the black dress is just simply the background, and she's really showing all the beautiful obi that she owns, because she doesn't have any other way to wear them, because she doesn't wear a kimono. A couple other things is like, your little fedoras and stuff that have a hat band. This little tie around my waist, the obijime, a new trend is happening where people will be tying these around in place of hat bands to just give this like more elegant, fun look up in their hat. So those are just some examples of how you can incorporate pieces into your thing. This outfit right here is actually in the auction. So you can bid on this tonight if you're interested. It comes with the belt and the michi-yuki. And there's also 2 bags over there. One is remade out of an obi, which is this belt around my waist. So there are ways that we can take kimonos that have outlived their wearing life, and we try to reuse them and remake them into new things. So if you would like to see any examples of what I talked about this evening, feel free to find me on Instagram or Facebook at Traeonna, which you can see how it's spelled on the cards there. I'm also happy to point you toward any kind of resources if you're interested in getting into this lifestyle or into this fashion. And I just hope to inspire others to transform themselves through kimono fashion, and hope you find joy in wearing it in a fun way, a modern way, something very personal. And if you have any questions, feel free to track me down this evening, and I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you so much.